Survival mode can get you so focused on getting through life than so much that you stop noticing the life that you are actually living. You can get so focused on everything that is going wrong, the things that are not coming together, that you actually forget to recognize that there are little shifts there. For me, it was articles. So after graduating in law, you have to serve articles. I actually thought that was going to be such an easy process, and what came was so difficult. I struggled so much applying every single day, and that became my focus. I was so concerned about the fact that I wasn't getting articles. And again, of course, that now spirals to me feeling like I'm a burden on people, just carrying that heaviness of feeling like you are depending on people. It was my business. How do I structure it? How do I now redo this? Where do I go? And then, of course, the financial pressure. The bills don't care. They don't wait for you to get sorted out. So every single moment of me became so fixated on that, so much that it became my every moment state of being. I was failing completely to see anything else, and that is being in survival mode for so long. You don't see the progress. You don't see what you've built. You don't see how far you've come. You don't even notice, like I mentioned, you don't notice the little things that are changing. Your entire vision becomes blocked by the fact that you have this constant feeling that you have to be trying something. What else can you do? And there in that space, you start bit by bit to chip away at your own value, because the thoughts and the feelings and even your language to yourself is no longer positive. You are drained, you're down, and you are in this space. So bit by bit, it becomes very difficult for you to place yourself as a person who is capable. So you start to lose value. You don't see the value in your achievements. Even if you have something that someone else would look at gold, in fact, if you had something, if what you have, someone else had, you were going to praise them, you were going to notice this value. But because you are in this state, you don't see the value that you are. And you start attracting situations and environments that support that. I'll give you an example. I got very excited when I was offered a chance to come and work at a law firm, that I overlooked the fact that I was working for free. I was not registered. The main thing about serving articles is for you to be registered. I did that for 5 months because of the state that I was. Waking up every day, using public transport with my own money, and going to a place where I was just working without compensation. So those are the kinds of places where you find yourself, because you're thinking there's nothing else in there for you. So your value, and even to celebrate yourself, becomes so heavy, as I was saying. You can be sitting with something that will work for you, but because the focus is all, I'm not doing this, I can't do this, I'm not getting that, as I was saying, it sort of clouds that vision that you had. And this wasn't only happening with my law degree. I mentioned in my previous video that I'm a founder of a pageant. I hear every single time the testimonies of young women who have come through this program, because it's more of a leadership and self-development program. It's not a pageant. And even with that, you lose yourself. I'm saying this because in the beginning, I was one of those people who was so active in bringing partnerships and things like that. During that time, it was one of the most difficult parts for me to just see the gold and the wealth that I have in this program, the lives that it has touched. And it's something that even extends beyond me. But still, I could not see or experience that value the way I would have seen it if it was somebody else's. So it sort of bound me or took my vision completely from seeing this thing that I have built for 10 years that has touched so many lives, that has changed my own life, failing to see it. Even with the law degree, yes, I celebrated that I graduated, but deep down, I was not necessarily feeling better. I wasn't feeling like I have achieved something. I was struggling to recognize and to shift. And with that being said, you can even have physically moved from the threat or from the environment that wasn't serving you or things that were not happening. I mean, I mention all the time how I lived a difficult life at some point in my life. And even when that shifted, it took a long time for me to step out of that and to recognize that I am no longer there. So that residue sort of kept on. It was difficult for me to remove this image of myself, this story about myself that I had created and I have lived for so long, so much that even when there were changes, I couldn't celebrate them. I couldn't see them. And when you don't see that value in yourself, you stop presenting it. You stop presenting yourself. You stop subconsciously. You stop reaching for opportunities. You make yourself smaller. Because sometimes you, as I was mentioning, you look at other people and you think, look at what they have built, but you fail to see this in yourself. It was when I realized that I could no longer afford to go to this place where I was working for free. And the funny part, or the saddest part, when I expressed that I didn't even have money for the next day's fare, it didn't shift anything. The boss didn't care. It didn't even touch them. And you can imagine I had given that. I already didn't have that money. So because of where I positioned myself, I felt like that is what I deserve. I did not believe that I also deserved like the proper office, proper registration, proper compensation, and you start realizing the moment when you open your eyes, it becomes so uncomfortable for you to exist and to continue existing. I let them know today that tomorrow I'm not coming back, because I sat with me and I could not even believe that I was okay with that. And I had been a holistic health coach for a long time. I was a person who was always trying to help myself. I had done a lot of yoga. But about 3.5 years ago, I came across somatics and I certified myself immediately to learn so that I can have more information about this. And I learned to regulate my nervous system. That is why today I help other women do the same. It's the reason why I have this channel, why I share my somatic practices. Try them for yourself if it works. Subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.